So I am really sorry that I have been off the YouTube radar for about a week, I think. So all will be explained in this video as to why there hasn't been any new videos on this channel for that time. We even haven't really vlogged a whole lot in the past week, and there's just a gazillion different reasons for it. So last time I saw you guys I was in my 29th week of pregnancy, and I am now coming to the end of my 31st week. So I'm 31 weeks pregnant, and I turned 32 weeks pregnant on Sunday. In the past couple of weeks quite a lot has happened. There's been a couple of birthdays. I turned 24 last Friday, and then also Liam turned 27 on Wednesday just gone. So those have been a couple of things that have gone on. Birthdays kind of just happened. We were going out for meal, well, we went out for a couple of meals and just enjoyed some time together. Liam was off work. I keep saying off work, he wasn't off work, he was working from home all week last week, so that kind of threw me off as well, because I'm not used to having him in the house during the week, like during the day when I film, which is really strange. So I think I just didn't record because I'm just not used to having him sitting in the office, and I have to admit I still get nervous whenever he's around and I'm filming for my main channel. It's really strange. But that is another reason. So let me get into the pregnancy stuff, and yeah, I'll fill you guys in. So around 30 weeks I started to feel like I was really in my 30th week of pregnancy. I was starting to get really tired, and I just didn't feel 100%. I couldn't really put my finger on it as to what it was, but I just didn't feel good. And on, I think it was the Saturday after I filmed my last update, I had a little bit of spotting, and that totally freaked me out. It was literally, and I'm not kidding you when I say the smallest ever amount of blood you could possibly think of. It was like the teeniest, tiniest amount. I haven't had any kind of bleeding or spotting or anything throughout my whole entire pregnancy. I didn't even have any implantation bleeding or anything like that at the beginning. So to see that kind of really I just went into like panic mode. Liam was really good about it. We rang all the numbers we possibly had on my notes. We rang triage, we rang antenatal ward. We didn't have a number for my midwife at the time because my midwife got changed at the beginning and we never got the new number. So we couldn't get through to anyone. No one was answering, and obviously I was really stressed. But we eventually got through to the maternity ward, or to a maternity ward at the hospital, by ringing the hospital switchboard, and I spoke to a midwife, and she put me at ease and told me just to relax because it's a very small amount, and it was old blood as well. It was very dark in colour. It definitely wasn't fresh blood, and since the first time I noticed it to the point where we were talking to her, because there was quite a bit of time in between, I hadn't bled anymore. So she just told me to relax a little while for an hour or so and monitor it. If it got any worse, or if I noticed any more, if it became pinker in colour, then to go in. But it really must have only been that tiny little bit of spotting, because I've had none since. Touch wood. Anything that is, we don't have any real wood, it's all fake wood. Yeah, she said just to relax, and I didn't have any more after that. I haven't had so far, so it must have just been, my midwife thinks it might have been something that, you know, was sort of lying on my cervix that just decided now's the time to go, and that was it. So I've not worried about that since, and I've not had any since, but that was something that kind of happened and completely threw me off. So that week onwards, I kind of just took it easy. I really didn't force myself to do anything housework wise if I didn't feel up to it. If I was tired, I made sure I was relaxed and sort of well rested in a way. I'm really struggling with sleeping now. My belly just gets in the way, and I cannot wait to lie on my stomach. I'm so ready to sleep on my stomach, it's ridiculous. But I've just been taking it really, really easy, and then I turned 31 weeks last week, and we had a midwife appointment on the Monday. So in my midwife appointment, she went through all of my test results from the glucose tolerance test and everything else. Glucose tolerance test was perfect, absolutely spot on. My beginning blood sugar was like right bang in the middle of where it should be, and then my 2 hours later blood sugar level was still quite low in comparison to the highest point in which they would start to worry, if that makes sense. So it was perfect. She also said, sorry if I keep looking down, I have a list because my brain has gone. She also said that my iron levels were absolutely spot on as well, so I can now say that the reason I'm tired is just because I'm tired. I'm obviously just not sleeping good, and that's why I'm getting tired. It's not down to being low on iron, which is good. So in that appointment, she also measured my fundal height, which is dead on, spot on. I know that they kind of say that fundal height isn't everything, and you know, it's not completely reliable and stuff, but the fact that he's measuring around the right, you know, growth that he should, that's good to me. And she checked his heartbeat. So when I first lay down, he had a bit of a wiggle and a bit of a kick and sort of shuffled a little bit. So when she first started using the Doppler, his heartbeat was really fast, and I don't think I've ever heard it that fast. I don't think I even heard it that fast like at the beginning of my pregnancy when he was teeny tiny. It was really fast, and she said, well, we'll just give him 5 minutes. It wasn't really 5 minutes. She was like, we'll just give him a few minutes and he'll probably calm down. It's probably because he's just had a bit of a move. And it wasn't slowing down. So she said, okay, I'm going to turn the Doppler down because it was quite loud. She says that can sometimes get them excited. And as soon as she turned it down to the point where obviously he wouldn't be able to hear his own heartbeat, his heart rate slowed right down. He calmed down, and it was like the perfect pace. So obviously the sound of his own heartbeat gets him excited, and the fact that he'd moved as well had got him a little bit excited. So she said that was perfect because they tend to look at, she said they tend to look at if their heart rate goes up with movement and stuff and then goes back down. That's brilliant. So I was really happy at that, and to know that he could hear his own heartbeat because she turned it down and then and then he reacted. It was really strange, but it was nice to know that that is another thing that is going really well. So the last thing she did at the appointment was just sort of feel around my tummy, try and figure out how he was lying, because I honestly had no clue as to how he was in my stomach. And she said that at that time anyway, he had his back was on the right side of my tummy, and his legs were up by my ribs, and he was head down. His head was quite low in my pelvis already, and yeah, I couldn't really ask for anything more, to be honest. So he is head down. I don't think he stays there. I felt him hiccup quite a lot this week, and he's been sort of over by my hip. Like the strong hiccup feeling has been by my hip rather than deep down in my pelvis, which has happened a couple of times, but I think he's still moving in between those two spots. He is hiccuping a lot. That's one thing I've noticed this week, is that after every drink I have, after every meal I have, this little guy starts hiccuping, and it drives him nuts because they last forever. Now, I have a thing, have had for years, where I'm the same. Any drink or food, I will usually hiccup afterwards. But the only difference is mine, I only get 1 or 2 hiccups, and then it goes. I don't get any more. To the point where I don't even realise I'm hiccuping half the time. But he hiccups for a good 15 minutes straight. I'm not kidding you. And he gets pissed. He does not like his hiccups at all. He wiggles and fidgets, and he doesn't like it, and then as soon as he stops hiccuping, he's all calm again. So while we're on the subject of movement, his movements in the past 2 weeks have definitely changed from being very sporadic, strong kicks to more rolls and sort of like waves of motion across my stomach. I still get kicks, obviously, and little punches, and I can still tell the difference, but he's definitely more rolling around trying to find a comfy position rather than kicking out his legs and his arms and stuff as well. So he is obviously doing a good bit of growing in there, and yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. So the last thing I thought I would mention is weight gain. I think last time I spoke to you guys I was about 20 pounds plus, I'd gained about 20 pounds, and I think if I remember rightly, last week I'd gone down a couple of pounds or lost a pound or something like that. But I'm still hovering. This morning I was still dead on 20 pounds weight gain. So I'm still hovering around 20 pounds weight gain, and I can only put that down to the fact that my eating hasn't been great for the past 2 weeks. And I can't help but feel a little bit guilty because I'm not gaining the weight. So does that mean he's not gaining the weight? I'm pretty sure he is, because because he wouldn't be growing otherwise. But yeah, I don't know whether that will then kick back in, or whether I'm just going to be lucky enough to sit around 20 pounds until he comes. I'm pretty sure I'll gain a couple more pounds before he gets here. Stretch marks wise, my belly is still stretch mark free for now, but my hips have definitely kind of, the ones on my hips that were old ones have definitely stretched more, and they're definitely more noticeable, they're definitely more red. But if I'm completely honest, stretch marks are really the last thing that I'm really worried about. I really don't care for it. If it happens, it happens. They fade, they'll go away in their own time. You know, stretch marks are kind of that thing that, well, they're going to happen no matter what. So I'm not stressed about them. If they happen and I get stretch marks on my belly, which I think I will because my belly button is starting to get pretty stretched, then it happens. But for now, I'm really not worried. The only other thing that has really been a big thing this week has been my anxiety. Now, this is the main reason why I haven't been making videos for the past week. My anxiety has been through the roof, and I mean ridiculously high. I woke up several times throughout the week and I just didn't feel good. And I honestly think, looking back over the past couple of weeks, that that's probably what it was the week before as well. I just didn't really notice. But definitely this week I've noticed it definitely being my anxiety, because I feel like someone's sitting on my chest all the time. I feel like I can't catch a breath. I feel just worried and nervous for nothing. There's nothing I can put my finger on and say, this is why I'm nervous, this is why I'm anxious. I just feel anxious, and yesterday was a really, really bad day for me. I woke up feeling fabulous, and after about an hour and a half, 2 hours of being awake, I felt this huge pressure on my chest and I just couldn't catch a breath. The only way I could make myself feel better was to eat. I had some crackers, and the only way I could make myself feel better was to eat these crackers, because obviously that regulated my breathing, because I stopped thinking about my breathing. And it was really strange. It went away for a couple hours after that, and then last night I felt insanely sick and horrid again. But I'm kind of just sort of traipsing through it and just getting myself through each day, because I know for a fact that after I've had Scout, the chances are my anxiety will be back to normal and I won't have these huge problems. And I know for a fact that anxiety can get worse in pregnancy, and I honestly think that's just what it is. I've been fine since the beginning, and only just now is it starting to sort of flare up a bit. I get nervous to answer the door or answer the phone and stuff like that. So it's just something I'm dealing with at the minute. So if there is a point where I've not posted a video, just take that as me having a bad day, because chances are I've had a bad day and I've not wanted to do much, because when I'm having a bad day, I pretty much am a useless worm. I just sort of flop about the house, trying not to cry at anything. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. I'll show you the belly. I still don't feel like I'm getting bigger. I think I am for sure, because I'm getting more uncomfortable, my clothes are getting tighter and I cannot sleep. And he finally feels like he's up by my ribs, whereas it didn't a couple of weeks back. But I don't know, just because it's my tummy and I see it every day, I don't feel like I'm getting bigger. But you guys can be the judge of that. Okay, so here is the bump for 31 going on 32 weeks. Looking at it now, I feel like it looks a lot bigger. But when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't think it. So this is belly. And that is it for today's update. I am going to try and film a couple of videos over the weekend and get back into it. But Liam is now talking to me on Skype. He wants to go do some shopping because we have no food in the house. So I have been eating cake all day because that's all we had. What a shame. So anyway, I will see you guys on Sunday, hopefully, with my March favourites. If not, then I'll see you guys on Tuesday for sure, because I have no excuse. I will get back on this. Please subscribe if you are new, hit the like button, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.